Boop, 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 boop. Boop.
Hi, why am I so small?
I was just wondering the same thing.
I'm so tiny in the corner.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Is this something I can do on my end?
I don't know. Let's see. What's this? No, that's my other. Don't do that. I don't know. Let's see if my computer tells me anything exciting.
I'm searching all the settings on my end, and I'm not seeing anything helpful.
Why? Watch us try to figure this out.
Thrilling.
So exciting. I like the first thing it says, go up to the 3 bars. I don't see 3 bars anywhere.
I don't either.
Right?
There's 3 bars on the bottom.
I don't even have that.
All right, what does it say after that?
Click on Creator Tools. Oh, wait. Are they just telling you how to get on to the live? That's silly.
Yeah, I've got the 3 bars, but I don't have creator tools in there.
Should I go away and maybe try to come back and maybe, I don't know, maybe I did something.
Yeah, let's try that. See what happens.
All right, let's see. Well, now how do I go away? Do you kick me out or do I kick myself out?
I think you can kick yourself out, yeah.
Usually there's a, why is my screen different than when I'm usually on a live?
I don't know.
Oh, there it is. Okay, I'm going away. Bye. I'll be back. I don't get it.
I don't either.
Hey, all those, if you're here watching us and you know how to make me not so tiny in my little corner here, let us know.
All right,
You can tell it's the first time both of us have been dealing with this.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm doing a quick Google on it too. won't let me like, move it or anything.
Right?
February 17th, 2025 comment icon, chat bubble. That small gift icon you see within the comments section of a TikTok video indicates that the video creator has enabled video gifts for that.
Thank you.
GB Times, The Spirit Magazine. HT.
Did not expect her to just start talking to me like that. That kind of startled me. All right. Good connection. Go live.
See, and of course, everything I'm finding is from like 2021. And it's like, well, yeah, but in 2025, everything's different.
Yeah, everything's changed. Live gifts. Oh, I can find all the polls and live gifts and everything else that we don't need.
Oh, sorry, I'm pressing buttons, trying to figure things out. Yeah, we're good. Thank you. Like, how strange. I don't know. I'll just be this tiny little person down in the corner. If anybody's watching us, anybody can help. If you know more about lives than we do. We're just trying to figure out how to make me not this tiny person in the corner.
Yeah, I don't usually do.
I know,
usually people invite me on board. So.
Right. Usually we're the guests on things. So neither one of us does the actual, let's run the live. So welcome to us learning how to use the live. We're doing great. We're nailing it.
We're doing fantastic. Yeah, well, hold on. I think I might have found something.
Oh, wait. Ha! Now, normal sized. Well,
All right.
But
now that we have solved the mystery.
Nailing it. We are nailing
it.
Well,
I couldn't do it again, though, unfortunately.
Touch nothing. Touch nothing.
Touch nothing. Yeah. All right. Welcome, everybody, to the first interview part of my new podcast, Redacted Tales. Danielle, introduce yourself, please.
Hello. I'm Danielle. I'm a narrator and an author, and yeah, that's me. That's me in a nutshell. And horror is my favorite genre, but I love everything. I'm a fan of everything.
Yeah. We have a million things to talk about, but I don't want to keep you here forever, so
cool.
I'll try to be quick. My name is Clarence Carter, for anybody, and she just got kicked out. All right. God dang it.
We're doing great. We are doing great.
Doing great.
I'm telling you.
Right.
I'm back. So
you're back.
We have so much to talk about.
We do. All right. Well, I don't even know where to begin, but hopefully we don't get kicked out again.
Yeah.
All right. So you and I met here on TikTok a few years ago, maybe 2 years ago, I think. We met. Yeah, that sounds about right. We met through. You were doing a thing for Halloween.
Correct.
You were looking for authors to send you snippets. I can't remember, like 300 to 500 or something.
Yeah,
it was very low.
Yeah, so I was doing this thing I do. I started it 2 years ago. It was a 31 spooky stories in 31 days for October, leading up to Halloween, trying to get people ready for the spooky season. So yeah, I was looking for scenes at that. I think the first one I did, I said up to 500 words, and since I was doing 31 of them, that became a big task. So then I think last year I only did it 2 years. This was only 2 years. But yeah, last year I was like 250. Let's do 250 as the top. And, and then I knew if people went a little bit over, it wouldn't be that bad. So, but yeah, once I started writing, I realized how hard it was to find a scene that's only 250 words. But people do it. People have been great. They're great scenes always. But yes, that's where we met, doing that.
That is where we met. And then shortly after that, I brought you onto my other project called 8 Spark Stories, which is sort of in hibernation at the moment. We'll get it back on track eventually, but for the time being, it's kind of taking a nap.
There you go.
So I wanted to do something similar to this for that, but I wanted to open it to the public. And we did take on a couple of other authors, but not many. So I decided, with all of this hiatus that we have from that project, that I would start this project, kind of do the interview section and the stories separately and open it to the public. And I kind of also wanted to save money, so I did my own story first, so I didn't have to pay. But I have to cut corners here and there, so I'm taking a lot of reprints and stuff like that because it's kind of difficult financially, but we're getting through it. And I want to bring on authors, get them an opportunity. Also, I want to put the book trailers and stuff at the end of their episode and stuff like that, so I can give them a fair shake. Hopefully, find some readers, get some book sales, get the readers and the narrators, which you're both, writers and narrators paid. That's all part of my plan.
Yeah, that sounds like a great plan to me. Yeah.
Yeah, we both know how difficult this business can be. Yeah. We both know how difficult it is to finance this type of business.
Yeah, and also with AI coming around and trying to take our jobs, especially narrator jobs, it's good to show that human narrators are the way to go. So
yeah, I've had that conversation a lot as of lately. Friends of mine who are not in this business at all and don't understand, I keep telling them, I'm trying to do this thing, and they're like, well, why don't you just use AI for? And I'm like, no. You're missing the point.
Right. Yep.
They don't get it, but that's all right.
If we just keep talking about it, keep telling people, then hopefully they'll get it eventually. Yeah.
Yeah. And I have toyed around with the narration thing lightly for the AI thing, and it does not have any heart or soul in it. So I don't remember which program it was, but Sean and I used this program. We both put our voices in there, and then it could say anything, and it just kind of sounded like me, but not really.
Yeah, and it's, at least you used your own voice. That's, I think, something that's really hurting is that they're stealing our voices, and doing that. So at least use your own voice. But yeah, I agree. It's when you take the human out of it, you lose all that human touch that comes with narrating,
Yeah, it definitely lacked the magic. It was very flat. We never really intended on using it for full narration. We talked about using it for ads and stuff, but it was just so. It's just easier for us to just record the ads.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yep. Better to do it that way then. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Better, easier, cheaper. Anyway, we should jump into talking about the project, and hopefully we have many more in the future. But as of the latest one, it was called Two Can Keep a Secret, and it was written by me and narrated by you.
Right.
And I had a lot of fun listening. I listened to it yesterday, and it was fantastic, like always.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a cool story. It's very cool. And I mean, I don't mean that because it's frozen. I mean, that they're in the frozen tundra. It's a really neat story. And what I loved is, I did that scene for it for Spooky Stories last year. So in October, if you want to see a little snippet of it, you can go find those videos. But, and I remember I read it and I was like, wait a minute, I want to know the rest of the story. Because even just the snippet you're just like, what's going on? So it was really cool to finally get to read the rest of the story.
Yeah, it had a little makeover in that I changed the title, but it's still the same story.
Oh, right. Yeah, it was called Caged Bird. I think the video, if you go to look for the snippet video, it was called Caged Birds Sing, right? Yeah. Or something. It was something like that. So now it's called Two Can Keep a Secret.
Yeah. As I was, it kind of like sat gathering dust in my computer, like a lot of stories do. And over time, I was like, I think it would be a better title if it were called Two Can Keep a Secret. Because even in the title, you don't really know who the two people are that have the secret until the very end.
Right.
You don't really know up until, I don't know, maybe 3/4 of the way through, you're like, oh, now the title makes sense.
Right. Yep. Yeah, I love the title. And of course, if you know the song, the theme song, what was that show? Pretty Little Liars, I think, had that same theme song, Two Can Keep a Secret. And that ran through my head the whole time I was recording.
Nice. I'm not super familiar with that, but I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, definitely. It's a good song. Show was meh, but the song was great.
Isn't that how it always works?
Yeah.
Let's see. What else did we have to talk about? The narration process wasn't too bad, hopefully.
No. So the only problem I had was that I've been dealing with vocal issues. Things are better now. I've definitely gotten better, but I was having just the hardest time getting through. Even so, if you are watching and you aren't either a writer or a narrator, we gauge things by word count more than we do by like pages or chapters or whatever. And I was having, normally when I record, I can do 10 to 12,000 words in a day in a session. And I was having a problem getting to 5,000 words. So it was like almost cut in half, like around 3,000 or 4,000 words, my voice would just sound so tired and I couldn't, and I was just and it was hurting and I couldn't figure it out. And so I went to a doctor and I had all that joyous stuff done. And then I did your story, which was about 6,000 words. And I actually did that in a couple days just because it was the first thing I was doing, getting back into recording. So I took a couple days to do that one, but it was fine. I didn't hear it. Hopefully you weren't like, why did your voice change halfway through that? So, but yeah, but I've been doing a lot to get things back to where they need to be. So
yeah, hopefully you didn't come back with any horrendous news. Hopefully whatever it is will go away.
Yeah, she was just saying that it seemed like it was some kind of weird muscle tension. At first they thought it was inflammation from acid reflux. So I was taking a lot for that, but the second time they were able to get a better video. I don't know if you saw my video about my laryngoscopy, but the numbing stuff did not work the first time I got it. And it was so painful. It felt like just fire in my face. And then when they put the camera in, and then when they pulled it out, just felt like my eyeball was going to come out with the thing, which would make for a great story. Yeah, like maybe I should write that story. Maybe. The eyeball does come out. But anyway, so the second time I went in, I told her, I said, I said that was awful. I had the worst experience. And she sprayed it 3 times into my nose. She was like, we will make sure you are numb. And I still felt it a little, but it was nothing compared to that first time. It was much better. So she was able to really get a video and really get in there. And she said it just seemed like at some points I was tensing up too much when I was talking. And so she gave me some things to do to relax. So, I'm trying to it's so funny because I've been singing my whole life. And so I know how to do it with singing. And I guess with talking, I just kind of forgot. I wasn't thinking about those same techniques that I learned as a singer, and I wasn't putting them into my talking. And so I was just kind of messing things up. So now I'm trying to think singing techniques. It's the same thing, you know.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I had a similar experience when it came to a dental procedure. I I was a kid. I was like maybe 14 or so, and they gave me whatever the legal dose is for a kid for Novocaine, and it still was not it. And we went ahead and pulled the tooth anyway, and yeah, it was awful. And even worse than that was after the procedure's done, and my grandparents take me out to lunch or dinner or whatever, and they take me to like this really great pizza place. And as we're walking in the door, the Novocaine starts kicking in, and my mouth just goes completely numb. And I'm like, oh, so I don't even get to enjoy the pizza. Yeah.
You're just like pouring pizza down your throat. You're like, please,
yeah.
Someone else do this for me. Yeah.
And then my grandmother's like taking the temperature of the pizza so I don't scald the inside of my mouth.
Yes.
Anyway, this side of this project has been so much fun. I can't even explain. So people are very kind and people are very talented, and my email currently has like a handful of stories that I'm like in love with. Some of them are like brilliant, and I'm over here like, I wish I could do. On the one hand, I'm like really proud of them because I know a lot of them.
Yeah.
And then on the other hand, I'm like, I wish I could do that, whatever that is. I wish I had it. Yeah. But this project has been thus far a lot of fun, and I hope that we have a longevity of it. And I have more stuff that I want to send your way in the near future. Yeah. I'm excited about what could happen.
Yeah, definitely. I think I love the idea of it, of saying, send us short stories. Let's get your work out there. It's what I do with the videos that I do. Is I just want to, when we do Femme Takeover or Human Voices Only, any of those projects that we do, that's what we're doing. We're trying to give you a platform to show off your work. And also it's nice for the narrators to have a platform to show off their narrating. But so I love that. I love just saying, hey, send us your short stories and let's make it a thing, and let's get you some exposure and whatnot. So
absolutely. So I've been in this business for a long time, as I'm sure we've talked about in the past. I got my first publication at like 14 or 13 or 14 or something like that. And I started taking it seriously when I was 21, I think. And now I'm in my mid-30s. And at a certain point, I was like, maybe I should stop playing this side of the fence, stop submitting and stop... Well, I'm never going to stop writing, but you know what I mean. And sort of turn the card over and start doing the other side, where maybe I'll take the stories and publish them. And it just so happens that like a lot of the people that I started with or am friends with now are all doing the same thing. Like it was very like almost in uniform within the last like year. A lot of us writers just started turning into publishers, and I was like, what on earth is going on?
Right. How did that become the thing that everybody did? Interesting. That could be an interesting study. Like, why did everyone decide to do that? But who knows? We're all just trying to figure out what's next. What do we do? How do we keep going, And I just submitted a couple of stories to some anthologies. So it's something that I would love to do more of. I love writing short stories. Now, my short stories always are really short, because I know you were saying you were looking for things that were, what did you say word count wise?
4 to 7.
Yeah. And I'm writing 1,000 to 2, Mine are really short. So I do have 2 short stories that are just 1,000 words, because I was trying to submit them into a contest and they didn't win. One got rejected because they said that it was too adult, and they didn't mean because it was scary. Well, it was a horror, and they were like, this is more of a general audience, so this was too much for them. I didn't think it was that bad, but apparently it was. But
Yeah.
so I have these two stories that someday they're going to find light somewhere. But yeah. So I love that. I love the idea of saying to people, hey, these stories that you have, that where do you put them? Where do they go? Well, they can go to you, and now they can be a thing,
Yeah. So as far as like, this might be a little biased, but the word count rules for people that I know are a little different than the people that I don't know. For now,
Yeah, yeah.
for the time being. So I did take a story that was like 1,600 words for a friend of mine, and a part of that also is because I'm just getting started and I don't have a lot of options. As far as the submission goes, I think I have like less than 10 at the moment, but it's still.
I should send you my I'll send you my 1,000-word horror story that got rejected. You can see
Yeah.
which.
Yeah. So I was thinking about this, like a bunch of the short ones. If I just do one episode and put like 3 of them together, it'll reach roughly the same length as the others. Although the interview part might be a little tricky. I don't know how I would do that, but
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I guess, like, what would be the things you would ask at the interview anyway? Like, you know,
that's a great question. Usually just like promote yourself, have a little talk. Maybe we talk about dentistry for a little while.
right. I think it's always funny because I think about these interview things, and I'm trying to get something started on my author account that is like a Wicked Wednesday where I promote horror and writers, which PS, we need to talk about that. But me and you, so I can show off your stuff at some point. But what was my point? What was I saying? So I'm trying to start this thing, and I think about interviews, and you'll either get somebody like me who will talk and talk and talk about whatever, or you'll get the people who are like, so you like writing? Yep. Great.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's fine. I know not everybody they're not as free flowing with their words as some people, and that's okay. And I know people get nervous when they do these things, but so I'm always like, you always have to have more that you want to talk about than can fit into the time limit, because you never know.
You never know. So I've done, as you can imagine, a bunch of these over the years, and I've noticed that the more formulaic they are, the harder they are to do. So if somebody comes to me with a list of questions, there's no free form. So I'm always like trying to like give anecdotes and trying to make it loosen up a little bit, but I've done a few of them that are just so tight, and I'm like, relax, buddy. Like, we don't need to answer all 20 questions in the next 40 minutes. Let's get like a handful of them in. That's fine. And then just have a conversation.
Yeah.
Show that you're a human and not a robot. And
Right. And I like that better. I remember I did a podcast once, and the guy was like, do you have questions you want me to ask you? I was like, you can ask me whatever you want. I don't care. I'll respond. So,
yeah.
But I hadn't thought about it. I was like, oh, I guess that would, and I get it. I totally understand. If you're somebody with anxiety for that kind of thing, again, I've been doing theater my whole life, so I'm very used to just talking and, making things up on the fly or whatever. But if you have anxiety about that, I could understand needing to know what you're going to talk about ahead of time. So I was just like, oh, I've just never thought of that before. So interesting.
So I have had to almost change my personality because of the influx of intent. You might not believe this, but I'm actually really a shy person, like introverted. I don't get out much, but because I've done so many interviews and so much, I have to kind of like loosen up, like I don't want to say be a character, because inside it is authentically me, but it's just a me that I don't really share with strangers, I guess.
Right. And when you think about it, that's what you're doing. You're sharing with, however many strangers want to come join the live. And, but what you don't think about, because especially with something like this is just, you only think about me and you talking. And, we've done that many times. So but yes, coming on to something new could be but I get it. I totally get this, like, what's my character? And it's not your character, it's you, but it's your outgoing self that doesn't happen often. I totally get
that. The me that strangers meet and the me that is surrounded by my friends are two different people. They're still both me. It's just one of them is a little more reserved, I guess.
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
What else did I have to ask? I'm sure there's a million things. Maybe I should have wrote them all down.
Well, yeah. So let's see. What's next? What are you working on outside of? Is this kind of your main focus right now? Are you?
This is taking up a lot of my time and a lot of my effort, but I do have another book coming out probably next month. I have another collection of short stories. I know. It's never ending.
Right.
This will be my third one. It's going to be called The Diamond Highway. And what I've done is, just like you submitting to anthologies, well, I've done that for the past, 10 years. So I have a handful of stories that have lived their life in the magazines, in the anthologies, in the podcasts, whatever. And I just kind of put them all together in one thing. And rather than, if somebody were to look for my work, they wouldn't have to buy 10 anthologies. They could just buy the one collection.
That's cool. That's fun. I love that. Yeah. I've been thinking the same thing now that I'm writing more short stories. I'm like, well, eventually, even if they're not ever taken into an anthology, I want them to see the light of day someday, Sure. But yeah. So, but that's cool. Cool. What's it called again?
Called The Diamond Highway.
Diamond Highway. Cool.
I actually just got the cover.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Do you have any idea when it's going to come out?
Early next month, probably.
Cool.
It goes off to the editor tomorrow, which even that is just like a proofread because it's already been through the magazine editors and stuff. And then after that, it'll go through formatting. And then after that, we have to just adjust the cover size because you know how that is, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's done. And I am ill-prepared for the promotional part of it. I always am. I'm not great at promoting anything.
Neither. I wish I could figure out that part better, but yeah.
Yeah, I see some authors on here, and their marketing game is incredible. And I'm just like, that's not me.
Like, I wish I got it more. I wish I understood it more, but yeah. Yep.
Exactly. Yeah, I watch some of them get interactions with tens of thousands of likes and hundreds of comments, and I'm always like, that's probably never going to be me.
Right. I'm like, oh, I got 400 on this one. Sweet.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not a star here on TikTok, and it's fine. It's all right. I plan on doing what I do. I don't want to say, regardless of how much attention it gets, I guess is what I'm gonna say. So it's not, I'm not in it for me. I'm honestly trying to figure out a way that we can monetize this thing, not for selfish gain at all. And if I can make a little more than it costs to run this thing, I plan on doing some anthologies. I'm not in the business of taking money. I don't really care about that. So if we can get some advertisement and whatever, take the excess money that it's not going to the writers and the narrators, and then do some anthologies and magazine work, and further grow.
Yeah, I love that, and I love that you know about that kind of stuff, because for me, I'm still so new to the author side of things that it's like, I wouldn't even know where to start with all that stuff. So that's cool. That I'm glad you know it.
Yeah. It goes along with having been in the business for as long as I have. I've kind of picked up a lot of things, and also I know a lot of people who have done these types of things, so I can always pick their brain a little bit.
Oh gosh. I remember when I was writing my first book, wasn't I just like, Clarence, hey, Clarence. So, I was coming to you with like every question I had. So thank you. It was very nice of you. You helped me a lot.
Sure. That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
We're a team.
Right. And I do that for people with narrating all the time. Every time anybody comes to me and they're like, how do you do this? I'm like, let me give you my answers. I'm happy to help where I can. And so yeah, I get it.
Awesome. Also, there's this interesting thing that's happened to me over the last couple of years where I have felt like a newcomer pretty much my whole career, right? So now when I get into these lives or these panel things and I'm looking around and they're like, oh, this is my first book, this is my second book, I'm like, I'm the old man of the room. I'm the one with all the experience now.
Right. It's kind of a fun place, isn't it?
It's fun to be wise, but it's...
But you're also like, wait a minute, it means I'm getting old. What the hell?
Yeah.
When did
There's
that
definitely there's some dysphoria about me being the most experienced person on the panel, always. I'm always like, who here is the adult? Which one of these guys?
Oh shit, it's me. Oh God.
Yeah.
Please don't look up to me, please. I remember the first time I was in a show where I was the oldest person in the cast, and I was just like, oh no, please don't look at me as the don't look up to me. I'm gonna be the bad influence in this group. Just know that. So that's funny though. Yeah, I get it. I get it.
Yeah. So I guess it just happens when you get older, but it's fine. It is what it is. I'm glad that I can help people when they get trapped on stuff, because it is very confusing. The submission game is confusing. Self-publishing is confusing. Nobody makes it easy.
No.
Even traditional publishing and querying it's complicated.
Yeah. Yeah, I looked into the whole, do I want a self-pub or traditional? And I was like, trad pub. It just seemed so, I was like, I'm going to do my own for now. Maybe someday I'll try, but I was like, both of them are so confusing. I'm like, let's focus on one. And then, maybe later step into the other one. Yeah. Shoo. Yep.
Yeah. I've queried a few times, but I've never had any luck with agents. So at a certain point, I was like, I'm going to self-publish. And then, like we said, as time went on, I was like, I could probably run a publishing company. And then Sean and I ran 8 Sparks together, and we still do. But like I said, it's not as active as it once was. He just wanted to take some time off, and I granted him that, of course. So he hasn't been doing a lot of live events and stuff lately. He's newly married and, all that. So let him enjoy his time.
There you go. That's a lot to deal with.
Yeah. And he's also fixing up his...
Been a while since I've been newly married, but I remember.
He's also got this fantastic house that he's been renovating, and it's a lot of work.
Yeah. Now that
beautiful house.
That we're still doing. We don't even have a big house, and yet we've been in it for 20 years, and we're still like, we should do this and that and whatnot. Yeah. So, oh boy. That needs some time. Yeah. Yeah.
So I decided in my downtime, I was going to do my own project and run it a little differently, but, hopefully we have a similar outcome, if not better.
Right. I know we haven't I know today was kind of this, we were just like, hey, what are you doing this weekend? And this time and day kind of just worked out. But yeah, I know eventually we'll come up with an actual day and time to do this, maybe weekly. Is that what we're thinking to do weekly? Or...
I'm thinking we're going to do 2 episodes a month for the beginning, and then hopefully be able to grow. But right now, paying out of pocket, we're going to stick to 2 episodes a month.
Oh yeah, I guess. yeah. But yeah, and we'll figure out when and where that's happening, when and when, day and time that's happening.
Yeah.
So that's not set yet, but it will be.
Right. So what I want to do is I will pre-record the interview section part and then release them around the same time. So the story will come out on YouTube under the videos, and then there's a section on YouTube under podcasts, and the episode will go like episode 1, and then the interview will be like episode 1.5, and then I will just do it.
Oh, that's cool.
Like that for now. And if I come up with something better along the way, I'll do that. Also, when the finance part has worked itself out, I'll move over to like Spotify or whatever. But for the time being, we're only going to be on YouTube because it's free.
Thank you, free. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, everything. Yeah. How cheap can I do all of this? Yeah.
That's where we're at right now, which is why I'm taking a lot of reprints in the beginning, because those stories have already made their money. So
right. Yeah, that's gosh, that was something when I first started getting into the publishing side of it. I was like, okay, there are things that I'm going to have to spend money on. What are things I can do myself? Luckily, I can do my own audiobooks. But the next story I'm working on, the protagonist is a male, and it's written in third person, but still it's his story that he's telling. And I'm like, should I try to find a male narrator? I mean, I could narrate it, but so I'm like, do I do that? Because I know how much that costs. But it might be nice to have a different voice than mine for one of my books. We'll see. But yeah, there's a lot of expense that goes into making your own book, and something I always say to people is get an editor. That's so important, especially for me. I don't know that I'm the best with my grammar, but I'd rather someone who knows what they're doing. They know it. You tell me what I did wrong, and I'll fix it.
Yeah, absolutely. Editors are important. Just having a team of people look at it even goes a long way.
Yeah.
I've got a critique group that I rely on a lot.
Yeah, I have one of those too.
I'm not as great as people think I am. I promise. Right. I just have a lot of help.
Right. Thank God for them. They're like, hey, this didn't make any sense. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Made sense in my brain.
I recently wrote a short story. I can't remember what it was, which one, but I sent it to Jeff Beasler. He's a friend of mine in my critique group. And he was like, you used the word blood like 300 times in this 5,000 word short story. He's like, how about you cut it down?
Right. Maybe
I was like,
something other than.
Yeah. So I literally just went through and I was like, all right, reword that. Get rid of that.
Find blood. Got it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I know that trick too.
Yeah. Good. Oh, that's it's a good trick to have.
Right. Like, why did I have this word in there so much? Yeah. And that's funny. But there was a lot of blood. I mean, had to talk about all that blood.
There was an excess of blood. We just had to figure out a different way to word it.
Yeah, right. And then I find that to be a really fun thing when I'm writing is you say the simple sentence and then you're like, okay, how can I make this sentence more interesting? Like, because that's when you write that first draft and you're just like, just write, doesn't matter. You change it later, just write. And then you go back and you say, okay, now I got to make this interesting. How can I take the same idea and use better words and better phrasing and the word blood 300 times. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's a great pattern to be in, to look objectively at your work and think, oh, I could probably do this better. How can I reword this? How can I progress the story with almost every sentence?
Right. Yeah. And it's not that simple sentences can't exist, but you don't want them all to be simple and you don't want them all to be complicated. You want it to be this nice mix. And, I know personally, I get into that problem where every sentence is the same length. And you're like, okay, I need shorter, I need longer, I need to cut these up. So how do I do that? And, so all that stuff. It's been a very interesting journey because for me, it's only been, a year. I haven't even hit I don't think I've even hit my year of publishing that first book, because I think that was in May at some point. I'll have to look back at that. But it's been a very interesting year to learn all this stuff. And yeah. So I have to, I'll send you the short story I have, but I need to write something for this too. So in my free time,
Yeah, free time. What is that?
I don't know.
No, nor do I. We should probably wind this down. Do your promotions. Try to get you some sales or something.
Cool. All right. So in narrating world, I just did your story. So that was the last thing I did. I just got a new audiobook from Friday Night Audio. I've worked with them a bunch, but I'm doing a book for Judith Sonnet called Magic. And it's an extreme horror, and she is like the queen of extreme horror. If you haven't read, she did No One Rides for Free. I did hers. That's one of her big ones. And I don't know how she does it, but she has the most descriptive, disgusting. It's an art. Yeah. So be prepared. Just if you look into Judith on it. And they're not all extreme, but this one is. Anyway, so that's Magic. I'm doing that one. And then I'm doing a romance, go from extreme horror to a romance. And that one's called Fall Back Into You by Shylin Ray. That'll be coming out in a couple months. And then writing wise, here I have all my books. So let me do these real quick. I have Sisterhood. I have Arts and Crafts. I have Terror at Camp Silverside, and Don't Open the Box, my newest one. And then I'm working on one called, well, it doesn't have a title yet, but it's about a magician whose assistant, they're doing the disappearing lady trick in the cabinet, and he makes her disappear, and then when he tries to bring her back, she's not there, and nobody knows where she went. So that's the newest story I'm working on.
It really does disappear.
He disappears, and then I don't know if I should say anymore. I don't want to give anything away, but and it doesn't have a title yet, but we'll get to that part. Yeah. So
sure. I read Sisterhood, by the way. I have not read all the other ones yet. Put them on the TBR.
There you go. Yeah, yeah. And they're all, it's all young adult horror. Well, yeah, Sisterhood was young adult. Don't Open the Box is young adult. The other two are middle grade, so they're for the little younger crowd, but they're all horror, and they're all it's fun. I'm like, what crazy things can come out of my brain and go onto the page. Yeah.
Welcome to the club.
Right. And so talk about what you're working on again.
I am currently my newest book, I should say, a collection of short stories, The Diamond Highway, will come out sometime next month, probably early next month. Redacted Tales, that's what this is for. It is a podcast about anything that could be redacted, like a government file, conspiracies, aliens, cryptids, supernatural, basically anything bizarre. And I think that first story kind of fit into that subject. If a group of scientists were to discover an angel in the permafrost, I feel like they wouldn't go public with that.
They would not.
No, they would not.
Yeah, they wouldn't want to, right? Will it happen? You'll have to hear the story to find out.
You'll have to wait and see. All right, perfect. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you, and we'll get this thing rolling. Love it.
Yeah, we'll definitely have another one of these at some point.
Absolutely. All right, excellent. Nice talking to you as always.
Likewise.
See you later. All right, bye.
Bye-bye.